you'll hear that they had other careers before they came to LaGuardia. And I think that for many of us, the pandemic has kind of had us reflect on what we've been doing, what we were doing, and the changes that we have to make or want to make in our lives and in our careers because of the vast changes that have been happening across the world. So I want to give you time to hear from them. Again, thank you. And I hope that in the chat or the folks who are in the audience here, you'll ask them questions and engage in these conversations and continue the great work that's happening with Portfolio as we move forward and think about what portfolio practice will look like in the new normal. So thanks to the team, and good luck.
Thank you, Eric. All right. So thank you so much to those of you, as Eric mentioned, we're all learning how to navigate the in-person and online. We are recording the session, so that way, if you want to share this away with your colleagues or other students, you may do that. So we're going to make sure that we share that with you later. So I want to give you a rundown of the event. We're going to hear from our two presenters, whom I want to introduce now. They're going to speak at length about themselves, but also about their ePortfolios in a moment. Sandra, who is also joining us today, and Donald, they're going to begin their presentations in a moment. We're going to hear from each of them. They're going to share their ePortfolios and they're going to speak about their experiences. And then after that, we're going to have a Q&A. So folks online, as you hear some things, if you want to ask questions or just put some comments, please use the chat so that you can document that. And then folks here, there will be a time for Q&A as well, in case anybody has any questions. All right. I put earlier in the chat, but I will put it again if folks are joining us just right now on Zoom, the link to our ePortfolio website. And let me go ahead and share that with you very quickly. In our ePortfolio website, we have put together already the two ePortfolios that you're going to see today. So if you want to learn more about Sandra's experience and Donald's, you can click on the link that I will put in the chat in just a moment, and you're going to see this ePortfolio website with all the information about the event, but at the same time, the links to these two outstanding portfolios that we encourage you to look at in just a moment, okay? So again, we'll hear the presentations for about 7 to 10 minutes each, and then after that, there will be some time for Q&A. All right, so let me turn it now to Sandra Rodgers for beginning. Let me go ahead and put this.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Sandra Rodgers. I'm a student in the Physical Therapist Assistant Program, and I'm in my last semester here at LaGuardia Community College. Today, I'll present the following pages of my ePortfolio, starting with the About Me page, a few projects under coursework, and 2 events under professional and community engagement. So over here is my About Me page. And this is the main page of my ePortfolio. It gives the reader my background story and why I chose to be in the PTA program and what my future goals are. Like many other students in my cohort, physical therapist assistant is a second career choice. I previously worked in ad sales for many years, but later I decided to look for something that aligned with my interests better. I was very much into, and still am, into exercise and fitness and wellness. And I love learning about how exercise can be beneficial to the human body. So I chose PTA as a major because I want a career where I can work directly with patients and helping them battle back from life-changing injuries and or illness. So during my first semester at LaGuardia, I started this ePortfolio page, and I was reluctant at first, but thanks to the faculty for motivating me, I was able to update it and maintain it to what it is today. Writing this About Me page was helpful because it allowed me to reflect on myself, It allowed me to reflect on my past and connect it to my future goals. And in addition, it also helped me gain more confidence and excitement about my journey ahead. As a PTA student, I used ePortfolio a lot to submit projects. The most memorable and impactful one was my capstone project. And I'll take you over to the first part here. This was a very complex 3-part project in the span of 3 semesters. The first part was assigned by Professor Tom, where the task was to provide a creative and well-organized oral and video presentation. This presentation was about a diagnostic condition. So here I did research dedicated to one pathology. I present general information and facts about this pathology. For this project, I used Prezi. And I also use down here Google Slides. And I also use Zoom to record myself. And YouTube. I liked Prezi because, here's an example of how I used it. I like Prezi because it shows Zoom motion that really enhances the presentation, and it has audio features where I can narrate while going through the slides. Down here, I use Google Slides to design what is called an ICF model, which is a very useful visual framework for our field in physical therapy. And down here, I use Zoom to record myself explaining the content of my ICF model. So I'm really happy with how it came out. And last section over here is a reflection video. I give a brief reflection, and I also discuss about 2 other classmates' presentation. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So once again, this was part 1 of my capstone project. I use a lot of digital tools. I was very shy at first, I get in front of the camera, but I'm glad I did. It brought me out of my shell. The next part I'd like to show you is part 2 of my capstone project. And this was an assignment signed by Professor Chan's class. And this was a critical thinking project that was about clinical distinction between my pathology and another. And without getting too much into the content or the details here, I just wanted to showcase the overall look of this page. First, I started by creating this e-poster you see here. And I actually got a little help from my husband. He's an art director. So he was giving me pointers on how to make it more aesthetic. And I'm really glad how it came out. So as you could see, I like the colors. Using his eye was very helpful. And the part 3 of my project was assigned by Professor Engel, where I wrote about a research paper about physical therapy treatment. So this project was a great example of well-organized assignments that shows my knowledge and comprehension of the pathology. Moving on to my next page, where I did preclinical volunteer work. Here it is. Here's a page that shows where I volunteered. Prior to starting the PTA, students are encouraged to complete 50 hours of volunteer work at a local clinic or any clinic they can find. But being that it was during the pandemic, it was very hard for a lot of students. Fortunately, I was one of the lucky ones that found a clinic that would have me volunteer. And it was a very good experience, and I was happy to document it, as you see here. I also write a brief reflection of what I've learned from that experience, and I actually gained a part-time job from that experience. And another event under professional community engagement is the Terry Run from 2021. This was a really fun event I did with classmates. This was called Terry Run for Cancer Research, and ePortfolio was a good way to showcase my volunteer work here and also the hobbies, and just a nice fun day to also remember. And this was a good memory for a good cause. So I wanted to highlight that. And the last page I'd like to show you is a project I did for my Professor Engel for functional gait course. Here, the assignment was to make a video demonstrating a gait deviation. So I'll just play a little bit without the sound. So with YouTube and a few editing apps that I used, I recorded myself discussing the cause of this gait deviation, what muscles are weak, and how does it affect normal gait. This project was more enjoyable than I thought it would be, because not only did I learn about gait analysis, but it got me more used to being in front of the camera. And at first I know I wasn't thrilled because, again, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, but because it's an assignment, you want to put your best foot forward. So I'm glad I got through it, and I'm really glad how it came out. So that's my ePortfolio. I admit at first, when I started it in my first semester at LaGuardia, I didn't see the immediate value in it, but now I definitely see how it can benefit me. I think it's up to you as a student to make it valuable for yourself too. So how it helped me, it gave me a better sense of myself as a student, as an individual, and I can showcase my achievements for later when I apply for jobs. So I really appreciate how my professors and my faculty encourage me and my classmates to use ePortfolio and document all our hard work. And I'm really, really happy with how the look of my overall ePortfolio came out. So thank you everyone for listening, and I look forward to your questions later if you have any.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Again, if you have any questions, please put them on the chat. We'll have time for Q&A for our folks joining us here. So now I'm going to turn it over to Donald, and let me just double check that my audio is going to work out just fine. So give me just a second. Let me share again. Again, if folks online have any audio issues, please let us know in the chat. So Donald.
Hello, everyone. My name is Donald Muka, and my major is Radiologic Technology. This is my last semester here in LaGuardia, and I hope it's not the last one in my path. Today, I'm here to present my ePortfolio, but first, I would like to share with you why I chose this major. 4 years ago, I moved to the United States to follow my American dream, but my American dream turns into a nightmare because with my bachelor in history and my master in archaeology, I couldn't find any job here. So I saw myself one day working in construction and the other day in a restaurant. And I wasn't happy about it until one day I sat down and I told myself, what are you gonna do with your life? And I came up with two solutions. The first one, fail and go back home, which is usually not me. And the second one, dream and start something new, which usually is me. And okay, something new, but what? And I started imagining myself doing different things here. And I decided that I wanted to do something in healthcare field. But what? Healthcare field is huge. And what I did next, I used my brain. I did a connection between archaeology and radiology, both deal with bones. And here I am today, almost graduating and showing my work to you. And this is my ePortfolio, and this is my main page. This is me. And I like it to keep it simple because I'm a simple guy, but I will complicate later to you. And on my statement, I would like to read some parts of it. To the world, I might be someone who works in the healthcare field, taking photo of the bones, but to the patient and my fellow doctors, I am someone with strong ethical skills, with the ability to handle any stressful situation at any moment's notice. A supportive team player with a caring, compassionate demeanor, dedicated listener with professional bedside manner, with above all, a dependent, critical thinking leader with sharp problem skills. With the onset of the pandemic, the rad tech field is more than important than ever, and I feel my services are needed right now. I am more than forever thankful to the hard work and dedication that LaGuardia Community College has put to me, making the path on the field of radiology a successful and a rewarding on where the chapter is just the beginning. So the next assignment I would like to share with you is the first year rad tech clinical seminar. During this time, I'm going to the clinic for 5 days a week. And my professor wanted to make a presentation to describe what does it mean to be a rad tech. And I did create a video and explain what is a rad tech, what does it do, and what is the path that he needs to follow to get into the field. And I explained there everything. I have a video for that, but due to the amount of time, I'm just gonna play a few seconds of it because I will save my time for the next assignment, which is very special for me. Radiologic technologists are medical professionals who are specialized in human anatomy imaging. We perform various diagnostic image examination to diagnose, treat, or rule out disease or injuries. We can work in an X-ray, MRI, or CT facility. Radiologic technologist is not an easy path as it may look. First, you must have a high school diploma. Then you must earn an associate degree and meet all the requirements to apply for certification. After certification, you also must maintain your certification by completing continuing education. But what does a radiologic technologist do every day? He or she makes sure that equipment are working. It is important to check and making sure that equipment are calibrated and able to produce a diagnostic image. Preparing patients for imaging. First, okay, so the next assignment I would like to share with you, now it's in the second year clinical seminar of RadTech. And again, our professor likes us to challenge, and she wants us to create a concept map where to put all the classes together and how the classes help us towards the graduation. And I remember during that time on the class, she was giving us like different examples of previous students of PowerPoint. And during that time, my brain was thinking like, Donald, you have to create something new, something unique. And I think I did it. After that, for 1 week, days and nights, I went home and doing research, what kind of app or software should I use? And I came across a wonderful app called ThingLink. In this app, I was not able to create and put all the images, texts, and audio together, but I was able to create on QR code so everyone can scan my project and have in their pocket. So, okay, good. I have the app, but I didn't have any idea. Again, you're thinking I was at library at school, and one moment I was watching a video and I hit the jackpot. I saw an iceberg. An iceberg? What has to do with me? I will explain to you right now. When we see an iceberg, every time we see the top part, but what makes an iceberg? It's foundation. So every single iceberg in the world represents me. Here on the top, it's me graduating, right? What makes me? My foundation. And what is my foundation? Every single class that I took since the first day that I applied into LaGuardia, like Math 115, patient care, anatomy, physiology, and so and so. Also, a very important part of it was the RadTech Club, which I'm the vice president of the club, where we do like extracurricular activities with help of our professor. And here we are with my classmates in a cancer event. And of course, without the help of my professors, especially Professor Licari, Professor Maldonado, Professor Huda, and Victoria, I was not able to be here without their help. So the next assignment that I would like to share with you is my internship profile. Very important for us in our field, because here we get all the experience that we need. I was very lucky because I was able to be in different clinics in all the city. Here, I met different kinds of patients with different backgrounds and ethnicity, and I understand that how rich is New York in terms of cultural diversity. And another thing that I want to mention here is I worked during COVID time, and I experienced all the emotions in the same time: fear, crying, madness, sad, and everything. Last but not the least, my resume. With the help of LaGuardia workshops and my help of my professor, special Professor LaGuardia, I was able to create my first professional resume in here in the United States. And I'm hoping this resume will open the door on this profession later. And in the end, I would like to say a few things about ePortfolio. In the beginning, I took it as a joke, putting one class here, one assignment there, and I wasn't happy about it in the beginning. But day by day, course by course, I understand that ePortfolio is a fact, it's a proof, it's a document, it's a real work. And I believe LaGuardia, the ePortfolio for LaGuardia is the best feature that they have. Without that, everyone wouldn't believe my hard work. But when you combine your hard work with the proof, with the ePortfolio, they become strong and solid, like the foundation of my iceberg. Thank you.
All right, those were great presentations again. Thank you so much, Sandra and Donald. It's great that you both not only have showcased your academic work and what you have learned in your respective majors, but at the same time, you've shown so much about yourselves. And I think if there's one thing that both of you have underscored is that although at the beginning it may have been difficult for you to begin your ePortfolios, once you begin to add coursework and your different experiences in internships and your interests, that's when the portfolio comes to fruition. And the process of developing that is certainly one that's beneficial to you and to all students. I want to underscore the great work of our colleagues, faculty colleagues in the RadTech program and the physical therapy assistant program. Some of you are here in person, some of you I know are online. I always say to people, behind a great student's portfolio, there is an outstanding work of the faculty. So we want to acknowledge that as well. So I'm going to take a look at the chat now, because there is a few minutes now too. And by the way, Sandra and Donald, there's a lot of praise for both of you on the chat. We'll save that and we'll make sure that we share that with you later on. And we're going to share the recording as well. There's a lot of praise from Professor Clarence Chan, Professor Ellen Quish, Teresa Licari. A lot of folks are just praising the outstanding work that you've done. We also have folks joining us from Education. I see them online, so we thank them for being here. So there's time for questions now. And again, as Eric pointed out at the beginning, we're all learning how to navigate the hybrid and the in-person modality. So bear with us as we manage this. So I'm going to take a look at the chat, but I'm also going to ask, does anybody have any questions for either Sandra or Donald about the work that they've done? Go ahead and stop sharing. There you go. So our folks online can see some of the folks joining us here. So any questions at this point? If I'm going to take a look at the chat, but if not, I have a question that I want to ask. And Thomas, I think we're going to use this microphone right here for, do you mind if, let's see. It's green, so it's good to go, right? Okay. So the first question, and I'm going to ask this to either one of you, you can feel free to chime in, is you've explained a lot of things that you've done in your ePortfolio. But if you could underscore one thing, what do you think was most meaningful to you about building your ePortfolio in all that process from the very beginning and until now, the work that you've presented to us? What do you think was the most meaningful thing that that you can talk about in terms of building your ePortfolio? So I have a microphone. Who would like to go first?
So for me, I think the most meaningful is my resume, because like when I start the program here, the final feedback that I wanted to get, like to get a job. And that's why I put like so much interest on doing my resume and my hard work right there, because I think it's that one is gonna give me the opportunity to find a job later.
Fantastic, thank you.
The most meaningful for me, it's kind of hard to pick because I'm pretty proud of the assignments that I just showed you, but I would have to be the professional engagement volunteer work because that can be unlimited. So for me to actually keep adding on, not just coursework, but volunteer work and extracurricular activities, and it kind of gives the reader insight to what kind of person I am. They showed you an event from Terry Run. I like to run, and just a little nice information insight to my person. So that's the most meaningful thing.
That's great, thank you. I see a question from our colleague Ellen Quish. Let me go ahead and read that out loud to you. Let me just scroll up. All right, so she says, I am struck by how you both resisted yet eventually totally embraced ePortfolio. Now, here's her question. What would you say to students who still don't understand the value of ePortfolio?
I would say don't be too negative. It's actually a good chance to reflect on yourself because it just gives you more self-awareness as a student and individual. I know it sure did for me. At the time, it's hard to see because it can feel relentless, but it's actually, it's what you make of it. I know I can use it in the future for when applying for jobs or if I go into further schooling, I will definitely use it. And it's also good to document all of your work.
Thank you. And I'm going to read out, Donald, do you want to add to that?
I just want to, I was one of those guys that I didn't like in the beginning, to be honest. But as I told in my presentation, like day by day, I understand the importance of it. So like correlated to my previous profession in archaeology, I wasn't like too proficient with the computer skills, digital communication. But thanks to ePortfolio, I am now.
Great. If you don't mind, I have another question now, and I'm going to ask folks here as well if you have any question. There's still a few more minutes. Professor Clarence Chen asks, knowing both professional programs are extremely demanding at both RadTech and PTA, he wants to ask both, how do you balance the time and the resources that allow you to develop your ePortfolio, knowing that you both are in disciplines that are quite demanding because of the clinical work and all of the things that you have to do. What would you say about that?
So usually for me, I do all my studies and all my work late at night because it's the only time that I have that, because I have 2 babies at home and crying. It's not easy, but yeah, I manage like whenever I have a free time, I've stopped like entertaining for myself. I just focus on my studies and that's it.
Thank you. Sandra, anything to add?
Yes, well, there's 2 parts to it. If it's an assignment, you're hopefully a good student, you're going to do it. So you do it, and when it's ready to finalize and upload, you upload it to your ePortfolio in the section you want. And then in addition to the ePortfolio, you can make it to any design you want. I recommend getting a friend or a family member to look at it and asking them, hey, does this look good, or is it kind of easy to read? I think not only just the content is important, but the look of it kind of, helps the reader to know what you want to say.
Fantastic. And I think both of you are alluding to knowing how to manage your time, right? Which is a critical skill that students learn in the first year seminar as well, and that you both clearly demonstrate. Folks here, any questions for our 2 presenters? Marwa.
I have a question from Instagram from Alba. She said, you guys said you didn't put too much work on the ePortfolio. What made you change?
That's an interesting question. Let me just make sure that our folks online are hearing. The question was that you both mentioned at the beginning that you didn't find a lot of value in the ePortfolio, but you've clearly demonstrated that you've come across with great portfolios. What made you change?
For me, it wasn't just overnight kind of thought process. It was just a long process of doing the work I'm supposed to and seeing what I'm proud of and uploading it and then looking back of what my end product was. And for me, the presentational skills was enhanced by ePortfolio because I get to use YouTube and present, like I mentioned before, and realizing that I do have some good presentational skills, I think, and so
You do.
why not highlight that in ePortfolio? So when it's tough to reflect on yourself a lot, but ePortfolio helps you do that and helps you become more strong and self-aware. That's what you can learn about it.
For me, I think the most push I got from my professors, especially my professor LaGuardia, was like mentioning when I first met her, like she was telling me about the ePortfolio and the importance of it, that it's a document really. And back home, we never had this kind of features back home, so I wasn't like very familiar with it. So now I realize and I understand that yeah, it's really powerful to have something that is document about your work.
Thank you both. And actually, Professor Licari is joining us along with so many other people on Zoom. I want to acknowledge there's some challenges with the audio, especially for folks joining us via Zoom. So I apologize for that. We'll be sure to share the recording so that you can get to hear this afterwards as well. Let's give it one more round for one more question. Any question from the audience here? Let me double check that I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, question all the way in the back.
So first of all, you guys have really wonderful and powerful portfolios, and your presentations were amazing. I think just shows that you have a lot of thought about your past experiences, what you learned here at LaGuardia, and how you move forward. So it's self-reflection process. Do you think that will be helpful going forward in your career? How do you think you'll be able to use this process?
So I'm still building my ePortfolio and I think I can always refer to it or use it as a reference for future employers when applying for jobs, or for even just if I have a job and I want to discuss a certain topic, especially since I did so much research on pathology, as I showed earlier, I can refer back to what I've learned. I did so much research and other topics related to physical therapy. So it's kind of nice to have it all in one website here, and I could just kind of look to my own information of the resource and the research that I've done. I think in the physical therapy aspect, there's always research being done, and for me, looking back at my pages helps me find out how I did that research, and then in the future in physical therapy, I would actually just try to do the research as I did when I'm in school. Like I did for these assignments in the portfolio. So it's still being worked on, and I hope to use it. I think I will definitely for employers, and I hope it'll be a good tool to stand out with these other applicants.
Same for me. In terms of education, I'm not gonna stop here for myself. I'm gonna like continue education, and I think like it's gonna help me more on the future how to build like a better profile for myself.
Thank you both so very much. I want to once again congratulate you for the great work that you've done, and just ask everyone to join us to give them a big round of applause for the great work. There are 15 people on Zoom. There's a lot of people on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. Folks here joining us online. We want to thank you all on Zoom, here on Instagram, for your patience as we navigate the audio of this new reality. We hope that we're giving you just a taste of the great work that students do with their portfolios here at LaGuardia. We want to remind all of our faculty and student colleagues from LaGuardia that if you need support from the ePortfolio team, you can always reach out to them via email. The link to the website, we'll put that on the chat for folks joining us online. You can always request a workshop or work with an ePortfolio consultant. There's also student technology mentors who can provide support as well as you build your ePortfolios. I think we have a gift of appreciation for our presenters, along with with a nice certificate that we want to give to them as a token of appreciation and for the great work that they've done. I hope that you can join us in just presenting this to them. This is for you, Sandra. And then also the wow, there's a lot of this. This is for both of you. Thank you both so very much. Once again, a big round of applause for our presenters. This is a new reality. We hope that we will continue to make these events hybrid for folks to join us online, join us here on the EME 500 live moving forward. And thank you both to our presenters. And thanks to everyone on Zoom for joining us and for your comments and input. We're gonna share the recording and that's about it. Thank you all so very much and enjoy the rest of your day. Everybody.
Okay, so